Alrighty guys, well welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be having a look at how to choose a handgun in South Africa, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you my EDC and kind of what I carry on an everyday basis, and hopefully once we've gone through the different points of discussion it'll make sense why. The first thing I want to bring across to you is that you need to begin with the end in mind. Before you just blindly take somebody's advice, whether it be a well-meaning family member, a woman that was in the army back in the day, the friendly guy at the gun shop, you need to deeply understand why you're choosing a specific gun. So if, for example, you are looking to get into a certain discipline of sport shooting, your gun is going to look a certain way. If you're looking at a purely home defense gun, your gun is going to look another way. If you are like 99% of the people that are getting handguns nowadays, it's going to be for EDC or a firearm that you can carry for self-defense on body. So I think for the premise of this video, we're going to have a look at how to specifically choose a handgun that you can carry on your person. Alright, so the first thing that we have to get out of the way is revolver versus pistol. Now, it's very important that we change with the times, and we change as crime trends change, we change as technology changes. So revolvers are great. I personally own several revolvers. They're super cool to go shoot at the range, but I would personally not carry one for self-defense unless I absolutely had to. And the reason for that is, first of all, capacity of the rounds. Revolver, you're going to carry 5 to 6 rounds typically in your snub nose revolvers, which is obviously the one that's going to be carried the most. You are not going to reload a revolver in a gunfight. I know that you think you do it cuck fast at the range. It's awesome, but guys, the micro motor skills that are needed for that, even if you're well practiced, is something that's just realistically not going to happen. There's a lot of data to back that up. The second thing is the trigger on a revolver is double single action. So you've got a really hard pull if you're going to be shooting that thing in any kind of defensive way. Whereas a pistol, it's either striker fire or you have got a double action pull on the first shot, and then it's a single action release thereafter. So it's a much better trigger. So you've got more ammo, better trigger, and typically your smaller pistols are going to be more streamlined as well. Revolvers are kind of clunky. So if, let's say, you are under a hectic budget constraint, which is something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video, look, a revolver, it will always be better than throwing a stone or shouting at somebody. So if all you can afford is a revolver, get the revolver. However, if you can afford a pistol, I would recommend rather going for a pistol. Yeah, they are way better in terms of magazine capacity. The triggers are typically way better. They are inherently more accurate when compared to shooting revolvers double action. Now, I know that there are some revolver gurus watching this that are, going to probably want to chop my head off. It is what it is. That is my honest advice. So yeah, getting that out the way. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is brands. Now, there's a lot of nonsense out there. Don't buy Glock, don't buy CZ, only buy Glock, only buy CZ. Guys, as long as you're going to go with one of like the top 5 brands in South Africa, which at the moment I would say is Glock, CZ, Smith & Wesson, I would say Canik, and SIG is doing pretty well at the moment. Now, there are other brands. There's nothing wrong with them, but just make sure that first of all, you're going to go for a brand that is good quality, that doesn't break. And very important, if the pistol does break, if there's parts or springs or sears or whatever that go in the pistol, can you buy new parts? Guys, that is incredibly important. Do not go for one of these obscure brands that if a firing pin breaks, cheers, you need to buy a new pistol. Now, keep in mind that we've seen some hectic stuff here in South Africa in the last little while, like the Durban riots. You might not be able just to whip down to your gun shop and buy these new parts. So just think about that. Is there after sale service for the pistol that I'm looking at buying? Further than that, guys, brand is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but there are very few bad brands out there. So when somebody in your friend group tells you don't buy CZ or don't buy Glock or don't buy this or don't buy that, just take that with a pinch of salt. It's like a Toyota, Ford thing. Realistically, they're both good brands. So don't get too invested in brands there. All right, so the next thing I want to quickly talk about, guys, is size. And that is incredibly important when you're choosing a defensive handgun. The first thing you need to have a look at is, will I be able to carry this gun? Because remember, 99.99% of the time, that gun is not going to be in your hand. It's going to be carried on your person. So can you actually conceal the thing? If the answer is no, doesn't matter if it's the most comfortable handgun in the flipping world, it's not going to work for you. So have a look at something that is small enough to conceal, big enough to fit properly in your hand. Yes, 100%. And then you can also look at things like comfortability, ergonomics. Something else that I would have a look at is your length of pull. So this is basically, once the pistol is in your hand, can your finger reach the trigger in the correct way? Guys, carry something or choose something that you're actually going to be able to carry, not something that, you know, you're going to whip out to the shops and, oh shit, I'll just leave the gun at home because it's a loss. That gun needs to be you know, like a part of you. So size, go for something that you can actually carry. Very, very, very important. Think about that. Not a lot of people think about that when they come into the shop. They just, like, you know, they get overwhelmed with, wow, you know, these guns are so cool and this one's really comfortable. But yeah, you need to carry that thing. Okay. So the next thing I want to chat to you about is caliber. It's an incredibly important factor when choosing a handgun. Now, look, there's a lot of calibers out there. The top three, call it, would be 9mm, 40, and 45. I'm not going to tell you specifically which one to go for, but just remember that you're going to need to go for a caliber that you can A, afford, B, that there's actually ammunition available for in any given day, and also if there is a shit hit the fan situation, right, are you going to be able to find that ammunition? Also have a look at other things like, you know, if there's a couple of people in your family or in your close surroundings that are also you know, handgun carriers, maybe having a look at carrying the same caliber as them might be a benefit. For example, me and my family, we are 9mm people. I've got a lot of other different calibers. I've got 40s, 45s, I've got all kinds of other stuff. However, my carry gun, my defense gun, is a 9mm. And the reason for that is it's out there in abundance. It is very, very well priced when compared to 40 and 45. My whole family carries it, so our ammunition is interchangeable. Most of my friends carry as well. If you have to have a look at the guys at the gun shop, most of them carry 9mm. And yeah, in a shit hit the fan situation, every police officer has got it. Every security company has got 9mm. Most of the Tsotsis have 9mm. You know, it's just out there. So it's all good and well you carry a 40, but you know, you can't practice because the ammunition's so expensive. And even if you can afford it, you know, can you find the ammo? Back in the day, it was, you know, yeah, shoot him once with a 45, it's over. Yeah, all good and well. I will say one thing though, the research and development that goes into modern day ammunition is second to none. So to be honest with you, if you're going to hit a person that's trying to murder you in the chest with a 9mm Ranger T or a 40 Ranger T or a 45, like, it's, yes, there will be a difference, but you're probably going to be more accurate than 9mm because you're practicing more. So I recommend 9mm. I don't know if it came across that I was a little bit biased, because I am. Once again, I do own the other calibers. I carried a 40 for many years. I've defended myself with my 40. It's a hell of a good gun. It's a fantastic caliber, but it just doesn't make sense to me in today's day and age. So caliber, 9mm if you can. If you're going revolvers, look, 38 Special, 357. They're very, very, very similar. They are more expensive than 9mm. They're also a little bit harder to come by, so just keep that in mind as well. All right, so another very important part of this decision-making factor is going to be budget. Now, I just want to get one thing out of the way. We get a lot of people coming into the shop that you know, want to tell us that no, they just want something cheap because it's just for self-defense. If they get into sport shooting at a later stage, then they'll drop some serious money on a nice sport gun. And guys, that is completely the wrong way to look at it, in my opinion, because if your gun jams or breaks during a sport shooting match, you're going to lose the match, or you're going to lose a couple of points. If your gun breaks or jams during a defensive shooting, you're going to die, or potentially your family is going to die. So guys, if you're going to drop some money, rather drop it on your defense gun, because it's an investment in your future. It's something that you only have to ever buy once, and if you buy correctly, it's something that your kids and your grandkids are also going to enjoy. So please look at this as an investment, not as a loss or a not a nice thing that you have to buy. It's a lacquer thing. It's an investment. Typically, if you buy correctly, your pistol is going to go up in value as well. I mean, if you had bought a Glock 19, let's say 5 years ago, like you are selling it secondhand now, you're making money on that. Not that you would ever want to sell your Glock, but anyway, I hope the bias doesn't come through there, but I'm going to explain that just now. If all that you can afford is a secondhand 38 special, buy the thing. Okay, please don't put off buying a gun too long just because you want to save a little bit more. Where you are now, buy the best gun that you can. If that is a second-hand 38 special, you can pick them up for about 1,500 Rand. Buy it. Okay, if you're looking for a decent second-hand pistol, you're probably looking in the 6,000-7,000 Rand range, depending on brand and model. And then for a brand new defensive gun, you're probably looking at about 14, 15. Now that is obviously going to fluctuate depending on brand, that type of thing. What I'm giving you here is just a ballpark. So if you have, a limited budget, buy the secondhand 38 special. Do not put it off. You can always buy additional handguns. This doesn't have to be your, last handgun that you buy. But the thing is, get a gun, get a handgun. You don't have a benefit of owning a firearm if you're still saving up for it. And go for the best gun that you can within your budget. You really don't have to break the bank. There's a lot of fantastic deals out there. Our partners at Gunnery Arms and Ammo, for example, they've got a payment plan option where you can basically pay your pistol off in installments. You can shoot the gun while you wait for your license at the indoor shooting range, thereby Gunnery and Gun License, which is pretty cool. And you can license the gun in the meantime. So yeah, right. It really is affordable. It's accessible. There are some fantastic pistols for really not bad money. I would recommend getting in touch with the guys at Gunnery or your local gun shop and just checking out a couple of the options. But Canic, just one little brand there that has massive bang for buck pistols. It's absolutely fantastic. So just to sum up budget, go for the best gun that you can afford. Alright guys, so I think that basically brings us to the end of the video in terms of what to have a look at when choosing a handgun. Just a quick little recap. Begin with the end in mind, right? Before you go into the decision-making process, understand exactly what problems you envision this handgun solving for you. We had a look at revolvers versus pistols. We had a look at the brands. Guys, don't get too invested in only Glock, only CZ, only Smith & Wesson. As long as you're going with one of the top 5 brands, you're going to be all good. We had a look at size. In a nutshell there, make sure that your gun can fit in a nutshell. That was a bad joke. But make sure that you can actually carry the thing. Make sure that you can actually conceal it. First and foremost when having a look at size, and then have a look at, do you get a proper grip on the weapon? Is your length of pull correct? Is it comfortable? That type of stuff. But begin with, can you actually carry the thing? We had a look at caliber. We are obviously fans of 9mm because it is cheap, it's available, and everybody has it. Also, the hollow points that are available nowadays are absolutely fantastic. So don't stress too much about, are they going to do the job? As long as you go for something decent, it's going to do the job. We had a look at budget. If all that you can afford is a second-hand 38 special, guys, buy the second-hand 38 special. What I'm trying to say by the best that you can afford, if you can afford a pistol of 15 grand, but you choose to, nah, let me just go for the cheapest option, shame on you. You do not want to be hearing click in a gunfight. Remember, this is an investment. It's not a loss. It's not an ugly purchase. It is an investment in your future, in your family's future. So, as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to show you what my EDC is. Before I pull out my weapon, I'm going to just say this: it is not my favorite gun in the world, but it makes the most sense. It is the right size, it has the right capacity, it's a decent brand that doesn't break. If it does break, I can find parts for it. My family also carries the same brand, so our magazines are interchangeable, our ammunition is interchangeable. It is a workhorse. I've got a lot of other guns that I like more in terms of aesthetics, in terms of brand, in terms of history and heritage. Having said that, Glock 19 basically is what I carry. No optics, nothing fancy on this. It is a stock standard Glock 19. This thing has worked hard, but I make sure that it is always in good functioning order. It doesn't break. If it does break, I can literally run over to gunnery right now and I can get most parts for it. It's a workhorse. It goes bang when it needs to. It's accurate. It's reliable. It's what I carry. Right, then in this left hand pocket of mine, I've got 2 extra magazines. These are 19 rounders at the moment, so they're 17 rounds with a +2 shoe. They are interchangeable into the Glock 19, which is quite lacquer. I could even go longer. Magazines are very easy to carry in a horizontal manner, right? So that's my pistol, my 2 extra magazines. Also, what I have appendix on the other side is one of these extendable battens. This is my bridging tool. This is, put that away. This is in between shouting at somebody and shooting somebody. On the right hand side, I've always got a blade on me. So this is my folding blade. This is a CRKT M16 for if I need to cut things. I don't have it right here now, but I've got on my keys, I've usually got my keys over here. I've got another little blade that I bought from gunnery. It's a little razor blade with interchangeable razors. It's pretty cool. So that's basically what I've got on body. And then here's my little bag. I carry a couple of extra goodies off body in a little sling bag. I've got an extra 2 magazines, sometimes more depending on the situation. I've got a tourniquet, right, which I've got staged, very, very important. And I've got a flashlight. The rest of the stuff is just wallet, keys, and that type of stuff. Let me put this away over here. So guys, that's the video. I hope you find it helpful. If you did, give us a like and a subscribe or a share. Hopefully this can just help demystify the decision-making process when purchasing a handgun. Thank you very much for watching, and stay safe, carry your guns until we meet again. Cheers.